Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my co host on the other side, Cantu. We got a new setup.
I like it. I
I
really
really dig
do.
it, actually. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
dig it. Usually, we will tell you our topics while we're going through down the list, but hey, make it easier to have the topics on that side. Then y'all could just making sure where we're at when we're talking about Astros baseball. Of course, I got to fix. I thought I had fixed that, but I guess I need to fix that with the Astros slide through the Rockies. That's episode 191. As the Astros get the mini sweep, perfect homestand, I guess you can say, for the Astros too. That's 5 games in a row at home. They're on a 7-game winning streak, back-to-back sweeps against the Colorado Rockies and the Baltimore Orioles. And 40-40 record, Angel. 40-40 record for the
Back
first
at five
time.
hundred.
Yeah, back at 500 for the first time this season. We'll have that. We'll talk about a little bit more on that because there's probably going to be a new goal after getting to that threshold. And of course, tell me about your day, man. It's a hump day, Wednesday, June 26th. How's it going?
It was good. Just finished interviewing Hector Herrera from the Mexican national team. He's not participating in this Copa America, but he's been a legend throughout Mexico's soccer team. Pretty cool there. But now it's been a pretty chill day overall. Just chilling, getting ready for that, writing a little bit. I should have a story out tomorrow, so stay tuned to that. How about you? How was your day?
Definitely getting everything together, getting the setup going. Um, Watching the Astros, analyzing how they were playing because I think it's very important that we have our shit correct. But I mean, the biggest news for both of us was our head coach leaving College Station to go to Texas. So no Aggies talk, please. We are not doing no Aggie talk here.
I do want to say something. I I don't believe it when he said that there was no communication between Conte and him before the season about this job. He said there was none, but then he also said I talk to Conte almost every day, so he kind of contradicted himself there.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you saw the whole setup and like all the big letters and balloons. That was not done in the past. That's been pre-work. So and he hasn't been doing like any recruiting for Texas A&M either. I think he's been sitting on the Texas, what I've been hearing too. So terrible news there.
Yeah, all the freshmen, all the talented young athletes are transferring from A&M to Texas, but that doesn't mean guaranteed that they're going to play at Texas. They're just in the transfer portal for right now. Maybe they do move on to Texas, or they just stay put until the Aggies get their next head coach and the rest of their coaching staff, because even the coaching staff left with James Schlossnagle. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Can't complain about it. Just got to move on now at this point and look for the new head coach at Texas A&M University. Texas baseball has their new coach after firing Kobe Pierce. But enough talk about the Aggies because, like I said, we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about Astros baseball. We got the agenda on the side of us. Recap that Rocky series. Hunter Brown, Spencer Arrighetti dominating starts. Astros at 500. What's next? What's going to be that next goal for the Astros? Of course, trade deadline's getting closer and closer day by day, and we're getting close to the month of July as June closes at the end. Who's invited to the Carne Asada? New York Mets pitching preview, train station / injury news, and around the horn. But Angel, before we get started, let everybody know where we can follow us on through our social media and our podcast platforms.
Absolutely, we're at FSA on Instagram. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. Everybody else, we're on Full Steam Ahead on Twitter and then TikTok, Threads, anywhere you have it. We're also on podcast with Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and just basically wherever you hear podcasts, we are there. Our
Yes,
numbers
yes,
have been
we
great.
are.
So our numbers have been great. We're just trying to get those numbers even better. I know we can do a lot more. Thank you for all those listeners who are here every day. Don't miss a live episode. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. I mean, on 8:16 p.m. Central Time in Houston, Texas. We got a good crowd going in. So let's start it off. Joshua, real quick on that comment. Nice new setup. Appreciate the comment. But 4.5 games back, first from the American League West. The Rays took the series against the Seattle Mariners. Astros are 3 games back from the last wild card spot. Our last episode, they were 6 games back. Now they cut it down to a little bit more by 4.5 games back behind the Seattle Mariners. So that's kind of a good start for the Houston Astros. But the Rockies series, I think the number one thing through this series was starting pitching. Hunter Brown dominating that he's honestly just been dominating the whole month of June. Six innings pitched, two hits, no earned runs, three walks, seven strikeouts, 94 pitches, 58 of them were strikes. He continues that consecutive streak of seven straight quality starts in the month of June. Angel 4.0 record, 116 ERA with a 189 opponent batting average. He is flirting for American League pitcher of the month, I would say, for the American League. I think he has a great shot at it. I think the month of June for him is going to be closed until that. Possibly you're going to see Hunter Brown pitch in that series in July, the first series of July against the Toronto Blue Jays. But what a month for him as he's turned it around this season. He's kind of redeveloped himself, adding that sinker into the mix more often. He's looked really well throughout this whole month.
Yeah, and he's been crucial to this winning streak and like this kind of hot trend the Astros are at because, like we said before, those two guys, Spencer Arrighetti and Hunter Brown, since early in the season, they're going to be crucial. The Astros are going to have success, and you saw the Astros were struggling. Arrighetti was struggling when he came up. Brown was struggling from the get go, and now that both pitchers are finding it and like they're kind of hitting their little cues, the Astros are doing a lot better. Obviously, it's a team game, but having great pitching is going to lead you to many positive outcomes that you can imagine. So keeping this trend, honestly, I don't know. Maybe he could be in the All Star game if he continues his hot streak, but it'd be very close for there.
We did talk about that actually with
Mm-hmm.
the 5 ERA. I don't know if he would make the All Star game, but like you said, maybe the trend that he's heading towards right now, the way he's performing, why not put him in the All Star game? He's really performing really well in the month of June. After, like I said, I guess that beginning of May, wherever that turning point was against the Los Angeles Angels, it kind of looked like he's redeveloped himself. He looked like he's a little bit more comfortable on the mound. Command looks really well for him. So Hunter Brown has been pitching really his ass off this whole month, trying to help the Astros win a couple of games here and there in his starts. But moving on to another starting pitcher that's been really pitching well this in the month of June as well is Spencer Arrighetti. 7 innings,
Spaghetti.
three hits, no earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Think about that. Both of your starting pitchers giving up no earned runs in this series against the Rockies. Like we said, the Rockies do have some great players on that team, but this was a series that you had to handle as a winnable and a mini sweep series. They did it over there in Mexico City and came back to Houston and did the same thing, given that 4-0 record against the Rockies this season. But back to Spencer Arrighetti, 89 pitches, 70 of them were strikes.
Well,
That is
70.
70.
That's efficient.
That
That's not a
is very
typo.
efficient. No, that is not a typo. Efficient, phenomenal, fantastic, whatever words you want to say about his outing in this game, this has to be the best outing of his career because he had career highs
Absolutely.
in innings pitched and in strikeouts, 10 punchies for the Rook, 7 innings strong from him. I got to give a shout out to Cesar Salazar. He did some solid framing behind the plate. Some of them strikeouts came from his framing from Salazar. And then think about it too. Them two guys have been a battery over there in Sugarland for a long, long time. So best believe Cesar Salazar really knew how to pitch, how to go from each side of the box to different types of players on their scouting reports. So just a mini shout out to Cesar Salazar in this start with Spencer Arrighetti.
Absolutely. That's a like talk about a gem. I think he's the first Astro this season with double digit strikeouts too. So
Yeah.
coming from the Rook, like that's he was actually really cooking out there on the mound because that was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's been. We talked, like we said, we keep on talking about it. He said the number one thing for him was getting that confidence, making sure that he's getting ready in each start because it started from Atlanta to Cleveland, and honestly, he just looks comfortable on the mound. He looks really good. His cutter was efficient. His fastball was efficient. The curveball as well. So
Did you
Spencer
see?
Getty really came out.
Did you see Joe Spada talk to Arrighetti after the start, kind of like brought him in close after that
Honestly,
phenomenal performance?
that is Joe Espada at its best. He has a
Absolutely.
great connection with these players. Think about it, Espada too has been with this staff since I want to say 2018 or 2019. So he knows a lot of these players, but getting a rookie like that, getting a great gem, especially from him, in a moment that the Astros need to go at 500 before they get to the All-Star break. That is a very phenomenal job on his part. I don't know if it was reassurance though. I wouldn't say it was reassurance. It's just kind of like that old pat on the back. A lot of wise words and great words to tell him. I'm guessing when both of them shared a moment right there in the dugout.
Yeah, and just to show how efficient his start was, you said 89 pitches, 70 strikes. So that's 19 what? 19 balls.
Mhm.
Arrighetti threw 33 pitches out of the zone. That's how much movement he had in his pitches. How deceiving it were to the hitters out there, causing a lot of swings and misses there. So pretty phenomenal job.
Yeah, he's done a really great job. The offense put up a 5-run spot on Austin Gomber. We did talk about Gomber's um his approach on the mound with different types of breaking balls. It hasn't been the best, and sure enough, the Astros jumped the gun on him. And Yainer Diaz has been one of the guys. 7-game hitting streak for him after this series against the Colorado Rockies. He's done a great job. He looks like he's found his groove again. You remember, kind of in the midpoint of May, he was starting, or even beginning of May, mid May, he was starting to swing out of the zone. He was starting not to, be disciplined at the plate. He wasn't swinging at quality strikes. He was starting to swing strikes out of the strike zone, and now he just looked kind of comfortable at the plate. He's looked very different that Yainer Diaz that he was last year. The power is still not there. I don't remember the last time he's hit a home run, but being able to get these extra base hits, he got a triple against Baltimore. He's had multi-hit games in this homestand, so it was a very phenomenal job on his part, being able to, come out and help this offensive spark come apart.
Yeah, well, he hasn't hit a home run since June 7, and uh that was that four straight home run game he had. But honestly, kind of two for that game before he hit those four consecutive home runs, right? He played May, that was May 31st,
Mhm.
took 2 days off, then kind of came back after that. After those 2 days off, Yanni Diaz has been a different person uh, in the batter's box, just like you said with Spencer Arrighetti. Sometimes just confidence. I think this is the same case with Yanni Diaz, just taking those 2 day breathers and hitting four consecutive home runs in a row kind of helps your confidence as well. Just knowing, hey, I know how to hit the ball. Since that day, since June 3rd, actually, since June 3rd, this whole month of June, Yanni Diaz only has 2 games where he hasn't registered at least one hit.
Wow.
And that was June 16th and June 18th. After that, June 3rd to June 15th, he had a hitting streak there. And then from June 19th to now, he has a hitting streak there too as well. So just like Jordan Alvarez heats up in June, Spencer Arrighetti, Yanni Diaz has been heating up in June as well.
Yeah, he
And it,
has. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, although he hasn't walked a ton, still, I mean, he's only had 3 walks this June in June, which kind of matches his career high with 11 walks overall. But he is cutting down on the strikeouts as well. I think he's only had in June, he's only had 1 game with multiple strikeouts, and that was June 3rd. After that, he has many games with no strikeouts at all, and then a few games with just one at all. So cutting down the strikeouts obviously helps with those numbers and your confidence there. And I mean, you can see it in play there.
Yeah, besides Yainer Diaz too, as a team overall, for Alvarez, he hadn't hit a home run in that Baltimore series. Everybody's playing a huge part in this offense of, I would say, even the homestand. I know this series for sure, but the homestand as well. Jake Myers stepping up, Joey Loperfido stepping up, Jeremy Payne with some multi-hit games, Altuve, of course, being that spark plug in the top of the lineup. Everybody's making a huge contribution and passing the baton, I would guess to say, to the next person. And sure enough, they're doing a great job at doing that. They're scoring early, getting on to the starting pitch and making sure that they could get into that bullpen at the mid part of the innings. The Astros did put a 4 spot, I want to say, in the 7th inning. So
Mm-hmm.
they've been doing a really great job, not just by one player, but passing the baton as a team, offensive team, doing the job that they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, going to your point on that, I was about to mention after you were done is that they haven't really been doing it with the long ball either. I think that's been kind of different from this season's Astros. I think I'm gonna say like they were reliant last year on the long ball, but it came in timely matters at times, where they just needed to get it. But uh, I feel like Tuesday's game was a prime example of that. The first inning, 4 straight singles off Gomber, and then that led to 2 runs. Just like singles, right? Just like you said, passing the baton to the next guy, trusting the next guy behind you, and just doing what the defense gave you. Like I really loved Yainer Diaz at bat in this game, where he just took the ball the other way. It was a slider away, take it the other way, brought in an RBI to get the scoring started there. So just doing the little things right can go a long way, and could honestly get you where you need to be.
Yeah, they've done a really great job doing that in this homestand. Let's see if the Astros do carry that on the road as they have a three away series against the Toronto Blue Jays, the Minnesota Twins, and the New York Mets. We'll have that pitching preview here in a minute. But let's move on to Astros at 500. Angel, we already had mentioned in the beginning of the show for the first time this season, they are matching at 500 winning percentage in 2024 after a 7-19 start. 7 wins, 19 losses. The Astros have gone 33 and 21 since. They're 24 and 19 at home. A little bit more statistics here. Since April 27, the Astros are the fourth best record in the American League with a 33-21 record. Like I was saying, only 3 teams are in front of them is the New York Yankees with a 35-19 record, the Guardians with a 33-19 record, and the Orioles with a 34 and 21 record. More to add on to the Astros are 17 and 7 over their last 24 home games, which ranks third in the American League since May 13. The Astros offense has been a lead at home as well, club leading in American League in hits with 377, a batting average with 369, slugging 465, and an OPS of 800, and ranking second in runs scored with 214 at Minute Maid Park.
Wow.
Last year, the Astros completely struggled winning ball games at the juice box. And obviously, we're not going to talk about the past in the playoffs, even that last part of the second half of the season of 2023. But this season, they look like a different ball club. They're not making any excuses because back then they were talking about, is it the batter's eye? What can be going wrong with this offense? Well, this year it's looked like a different story. They're doing really well on, being at home at Minute Maid Park. Of course, they're kind of the road warriors throughout their tenure, I would say in 22 and 23, but this year it's kind of moved to being at home. They've done a really great job, I guess, matching that same energy with the crowd. The crowd, the atmosphere at Minute Maid Park is still good. They're going to cheer on their guys no matter what. And I think they've done a really great job playing at home. Offense has looked good. Bullpen has looked good. Starting pitching has looked good. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm not speaking for them. They're saying that being at home is a difference maker, but honestly, this season it's just looked like a different team and a different mindset being at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, and like we were one of the few podcasts to like kind of like not ruling the Astros out. Like I'm not talking like negative. I mean, like yeah, we worked the options of like, hey, if this, the scenarios, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like this team, just how Dana Brown kept saying that this team's just too good not to figure it out, and you see it now. I mean, they're figuring it out by doing the small things, getting on base, playing better at home. That was a big like like you said, that was a big thing last year. And I was going to actually tell you, like, do you think that batter's eye conversation last year is kind of valid valid at all now because nothing changed in center field. They kept it the
Mhm.
same way. Yeah, they painted the little strip last year, right? But nothing changed that year. Then all of a sudden they're hitting at home there. Like sometimes just catching your stride a little bit, just things falling in your way. Baseball is a game where it's a game of inches, like they always say. Sometimes things goes your way, and then sometimes you're hitting line shots right at guys for outs, and the other team's hitting bloopers for hits. It's just a game that humbles you real quick. But I think the Astros kind of finding it at home will be crucial. And if they do make it to the playoffs, that's going to be crucial as well because you know how well the Astros play away from Minute Maid Park. The only difference is playing in Minute Maid Park is going to be the key there.
Yeah, even the run differential now, the Astros, I mean, it's been negative so long, and now they have a positive 30 run differential in on this day on June 26th. So the offense has kind of picked up. You remember the beginning, it's been slow, but that's the Astros in general. And they start
Been
off
like
slow. A
I'd
lot
say
of
3 4
players,
years.
yeah, I mean, the starters, I mean, Alex Bregman's a slow start. He's starting to hit the ball. Jordan Alvarez was in a mini slump, and the next thing you know, he's starting to catch fire because it's June. Jordan Alvarez, for some reason, has a great career hitting in June. And I'm not saying it's different for each and every other player, but something just, I mean, just it's just, I guess confidence could be one. It could have been mental too. And last year, a lot of media drawing attention with the batter's eye. I mean, that's a big
Yeah.
thing. But I'm not gonna speak for about that. It's just they look like a different team. The offense has looked really well, and I'm not gonna say nothing negative about Jose Abreu being off the roster because that guy, like I said, very genuine guy, hardworking as well. He wasn't a bad seed in the clubhouse. I mean, he was always there for the boys. I don't think that's even an effect. It's
Okay.
just all of a sudden the Astros offense with base running, contact, power. Just think about it too. Kyle Tucker's not even in the lineup. That's one of
Yeah.
the biggest guys that the Astros have been doing good in the beginning of the season for him.
Yeah. I was about to mention. I was gonna say like it's kind of remarkable what the Astros have done going back to 500 with all the injuries that they have on the pitching side. Kyle Tucker shelved for like 3 weeks. Justin Verlander not pitching. Surgeries to Urquidy and Javier, and just like kind of like a different lineup almost every day. Yeah, early on, a mixture between Jose Abreu, John Singleton, Mauricio Dubon trying to find himself there. And now the addition of Joey Perfuder is like it's kind of like there's teams that have a consistent lineup. I would say the Rockies, for example, like they put the same people out there. Even when it was a 7-1 game, they didn't really sub anybody out. Just giving those like their players at bats. But the Astros are really good at getting kind of everybody involved in playing time, but without taking too much of your starters out the game. Like those core guys. But yeah, I think just what all they've been through is kind of like similar to last season there with all those injuries, but still finding a way to win. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, we could go through the injury bug list this whole show, and through the adversity of that, they've done a hell of a good job, I would say, because I don't think a lot of people, including myself, I wouldn't even said the Astros are going to be at 500 before the All Star break, and they've done a really great job, and it's from through everything: base running, defense, contact, power, and pitching. That's been a great job throughout this whole month. We'll see in the next episode. We'll probably break down the month of June and what their record was. But seeing that the Astros are starting to trend into the right direction, being that team that they were through the years of the golden age of Astros baseball, now they're looking like they're getting back on track. Framber Valdez is pitching really well. Ronel Blanco, he's done a great job this season. Hunter Brown's finding it. Justin Verlander right now kind of dealing with some neck discomfort, but he's still there too. So it's been everybody. It's not just been one person. It's been everybody on this team stepping up and making sure, like, hey, we're the Astros from 23, from 2022, winning the World Series, one win away going to the World Series. They've done a really great job at doing that and battling through the adversity of all these injuries. I'd say they've done a fantastic job.
Absolutely. And typically when the Astros win, the Carne Asada is jam packed, and when they don't, it's like kind of Squidward. It's kind of that Squidward meme. Everybody else looking into the party. But uh, do you have your passport, Lorenzo? Do you have a passport?
I do not have my passport on me.
But do you have one?
Of course, I have one.
Good.
How do you think I got to Mexico City?
Oh, good, because you're gonna have to need it because today's kind of has to be hosted by in Venezia and the Leaning Tower of Pisa because Spencer Arrighetti is gonna be hosting some phenomenal spaghetti. He's gonna be bringing the meat for this year's carne asada or this week's carne asada. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Like Lorenzo just told you, I think he was big. Uh, I kind of mentioned how that last time that these guys, like you said, confident, right? The Colorado Rockies were a team where bounced back, bouncing back for Spencer Getty kind of gave you that confidence. He had 2 rough outings before this, and then it's crazy because he had probably 2 of his worst starts of his career, and then has his best start of his career. And sometimes that can take you a long way. It's just like on the offensive side, that like sometimes a blue pit change your offensive numbers around. A phenomenal start can do the same thing as well, and I think that's going to be the trend for Spencer Getty moving forward. Some garlic breads will be brought to you by Jose Altuve. I'm sure he gets sponsored by HEB. I'm sure he's going to bring them in the suitcase there. 4 for 9, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Some salads will be brought to you by Jake Myers. 3 for 7, 1 run, 1 RBI. Some grated cheese will be brought by Yanier Diaz. 4 for 8, batting 500 in the series. 1 run and 3 RBIs. And then who's going to be eating it all is Hunter Brown. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Again, a phenomenal day by both starters this week, and also the offense doing what they got to do, not letting guys who have been struggling look like Cy Young award winners this time around, and just doing what they got to do.
Damn, spaghetti. So he's bringing the meatballs, the
Absolutely.
chicken.
Everything.
It's chicken Alfredo.
Spaghetti.
Chicken Alfredo too. If we're going to Italy, we're not gonna just lasagna has to be an option. Come on, just can't be all
Like,
about spaghetti.
A little potluck, right? I like it.
Little potluck of being in
Pizza.
Italy. Okay, well, yeah, even a flatbread. Flatbread is very underrated, I would say. Calzones,
You
calzones,
know
man.
what? I don't think I've ever had a calzone.
It's pretty damn good.
Is it?
Stuffed. It's all stuffed with a bunch of like whatever you want. Like you can have a meat lovers one, be pepperoni, bacon, sausage, all that.
Speaking of restaurants, I know this is like across the continent. A good friend Javier Gonzalez told me about this place where have really good Dominican Cuban food. You know he, and you know he's Cuban, right? So he's not gonna be
Mhm.
like giving us some terrible Cuban food. So he says pretty good. It's called Dominican Grocery Deli. So go check that out.
Where is it? You're telling us Dominican
Oh my
Grocery
bad.
Deli.
It's in Houston, obviously, but it's by Richmond Avenue.
Mhm.
Yeah, so over there.
Okay, okay. Joshua, real quick, again on the chat. I was right when I said they were turning it around after the White Sox series. Sure enough, they're on a 7-0 run after, well, 9-0, I guess you could say, because they lost that first game in that
Mhm.
series at Chicago. Um, but before we get to the pitching preview, what's next for the Astros? They got to 500. They're at a 40-40 record before the All Star break. What's their next goal, you think? Do you think it's adding starting pitching before the trade deadline? Do you think it's kind of getting 5 to 7 games before the All Star break? What do you think in the mindset of the Astros could be potentially being their next goal of where they want to get to, I guess, to catch up to the Seattle Mariners?
Well, I would say their first goal, first and foremost, is to continue this trend, right? To get, you're at 500. You made it to like the hard part. Now the harder part is maintaining it, right?
Mhm.
Because you're about to go against a hot team. Like I know you're about to give us a preview, but a hot team on the Mets. Then you got another sneaky team, like another great team in Toronto, and another great team against Minnesota, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's the first one, maintaining the 500 and above record. And I
Mhm.
think a way to do that, to answer your question, is yes, obviously you need to add more pitching, because right now, uh, kind of like there's some question marks in the rotation for a game this series. And like you have your two main starters, but then there's question marks after that, because you still have Verlander hurt.
Mhm.
He's not traveling to New York with the team, so that tells you that he's not starting this week at all. Jake Bloss, as you can see, kind of had an injury, so that's an option that might not be available. So I would say pitching, yes. I would say maybe some arms, one starter for sure, at least at the very least, and maybe like a bullpen arms too to kind of help you out there. And like I think what Donna Brown's saying is like if the price is right, he will get another bat too. So, but I think your top priority is pitching. That's number one for them.
So number one is maintaining, and then number two is getting a starting pitcher.
Yeah, it could be like 1A, 1B because they're both top priority.
Okay, interesting to see. Yeah, I do agree. They got to maintain this. They got to ride this winning streak that they're on right now. 7 games. That's pretty strong. Like I said, they're going to go to New York and go face the New York Mets, which we'll have that preview here in just a second. But maintaining that, being able to be consistent with the offense, I would say too, continue this trend of starting pitching that's been dominant from the Orioles series. Well, you can even say from the White Sox series to the Orioles to the Rockies. Yes, the Rockies and the White Sox. I mean, they're not two great teams, but that's a confidence booster, I would say, for some starting pitchers. As well, the Baltimore Orioles. You're just showed right there. You swept one of the best teams in the American League. You can compete with that team. You've been through the postseason so many times. Going to New York, being able to handle your business there, going to Toronto, being able to handle some business there, and as well going to Minnesota. You've seen Minnesota already in the beginning of the season. You got to handle their business as well. They're going to be adjusting into their problem of starting pitching as well as their offense. But the next part I would say is yes, starting pitching. Yes, you need a bat, trying to figure out who's going to be this number 5 guy right now for this Astros starting rotation. Because, like you had mentioned, Verlander's not traveling to New York. He's going to stay in Houston. We'll have that update here in a minute. But who's going to step up? Who's going to be the number 5? Are you going to go down from AAA and bring a guy like AJ Blueball, or I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but that guy? Are you going to be able to bring him up? Are we going to look at a bullpen game? Because think about it too. After this off day on Thursday, the Astros have 10 straight games in a row with the Mets, the Blue Jays, and the Twins before they come back home. And I want to say they play the Miami Marlins. So I think that's going to be the number one thing before looking after a starting pitcher in the trade deadline. The Astros got to figure out and go to the drawing board. Hey, are we going to make Sean Dubin pitch a game maybe because he has been extended as a starter before? Are we going to
Greg
call up
Larson.
somebody from Triple A? Jake Bloss is still on the IL. So are we going to go and get a guy like AJ to pitch that number 5 guy?
Yeah,
So
and then also take a look at Eric Lar too from
another guy. Yeah.
yeah, see, yeah. So uh, well, that can be like another one, but I mean, I wasn't say something else, but like I'll let you do the preview there. I don't want to take that away from you, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I think it's
I mean, does it prioritize too? What's next? That's what I'm saying. Does it or does it not?
yeah, absolutely. I would
Well,
say.
go ahead. The
Well,
topic's still there.
no. Well, it was kind of I was gonna kind of mess with your picture preview, so I don't want to do that. I'll just talk about it when it comes. Yeah.
All right, I ain't just gonna hold off, and I guess. But yeah, let's get that preview real quick. The New York Mets, the Miracle Mets. The same year the Houston franchise got a baseball team, New York Mets were the same team that year to get a franchise as well. Their record's 38 and 39. They are 8 and 2 in their last 10 games. They're in the NL East. As of right now, if I look at the score, they were in the rain delay. They're still in the rain delay. The Mets are beating the
4-0.
Yankees 4-0. They
Yeah.
tagged out Luis Gil out of the game as well. So that means a lot because that guy's been one of the best starting pitchers in the American League this year.
This is gonna be an interesting series for sure because I was thinking off air. The Mets and the Astros are very similar, very great teams. Underperformed early on, and now both of them had caught fire at the same at the same time, honestly. So somebody's gonna have to give, someone's gonna have to, one team's gonna make a mistake, one team's gonna falter, right? But it'll be this could be a pretty good series that has maybe good ramifications if they actually win the series later on in the series, right? Because like this is to be a road trip full with great teams, and they need to they've only lost two series in June, and that's with the Giants and the Twins. And I think the ramifications on that is yes, you're 4.5 games back from Seattle, but you could have been a lot closer if they handled their business with the Giants, if they would have handled their business with the Twins, right? So now it's gonna be you're looking at this road trip, you're looking at the Mets right now. You gotta handle your business with them to not lose that standings where you're at.
Yeah, even that momentum too, man. That momentum's been carrying on, and they've been doing a really good job winning series after series after series. But hopefully the Mets don't have the grimace there because the grimace era is pretty damn real still. It is still damn real.
But did you see that question that Pete Alonso was asked if he would rather go on a walk with Grimace or Frank the Tank?
They even had asked Brandon Nimmo too, real quick before we get the preview, about what do you think about the grimace? And he's like, well, what about him? He's like, well, ever since the grimace threw out the first pitch, y'all have been undefeated. He laughed, man. So I think the team has kind of just built on, even though that's kind of a fun part of the game, they just build off of it. And sure enough, they've been doing that. Shoot, 8 and 2 in their last 10 games. Uh, Beating the Yankees right now. They already tacked on against Garrett Cole in the beginning of this series. So
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Yankees' two best starters getting like beheaded by the Mets, kind of.
and like you said, the record 38 and 39 is pretty close to the Astros. Astros are 40 and 40. So, like you said, something's gonna have to give. And it starts on Friday night, 6:10 start time. Ronel Blanco's on the mound for the Astros, 8-2 record with the 2.34 ERA. He'll be going against Jose Quintana, 3-5, 4.58 ERA. Blanco, his last start versus the Orioles, dominant as usual. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He's done a really great job on the mound. As long as he keeps that changeup down in the zone and away from hitters, I think he's going to have a great chance. A lot of these guys on this Mets team, you got a Francisco Lindor, who's a switch hitter. He's going to be on the left side. Jeff McNeil is going to be on the left side. Brandon Nimmo is going to be on the left side. So they got a lot of lefties on this team. If you are if you're Ronel Blanco, you are staying away from the inside part of the plate and you're trying to attack that lower part outside of the zone with that changeup. But Ronel really has been doing a great damn job this whole season I honestly wouldn't be surprised. We already talked about that this guy gets an all-star bid this year.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at his numbers, seeing there was something that give, and he's been pretty great with both lefties and right-handed hitters. But it's just like mixing your pitches for sure, not getting behind in counts, and just keeping them on edge. Keep them worried about that changeup to come, so they don't get too reliant on it. Just kind of complement the fastball, not be changeup heavy.
Yeah, he's done a really great job doing that, mixing his pitches here and so we'll have to see if he continues that momentum going against the Mets. Jose Quintana, on the other hand, last start against the Cubs, 6 1/3, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He has pitched back-to-back quality starts. Only gave up 1 earned run in 12 1/3 of innings pitched. Hasn't pitched against the Houston Astros since 2021. Remember, he was with the Los Angeles Angels at a time. He hasn't seen the Astros since 21. He's pitched against them 3 times in 2021. So it'll be interesting to see if the Astros have a playbook on him or vice versa, with Quintana looking at the same Astros squad from 21. But he has pitched well in June, 2.0 record, 3.15 ERA, has only given up a 2.19 opponent batting average. So here come the cons about this guy. Doesn't really adjust second time through or third time through the lineup. Second time through the order, he has a 5.46 ERA with 34 hits, 18 earned runs, a 286 opponent batting average, and a 500, well, really close to 500 opponent slugging with a 496. Third time around doesn't get any better for him. Like I said, 675 ERA, 300 opponent batting average. So Astros are going to make an adjustment. He'll try to make an adjustment. And usually the Astros are a great team at making adjustments in the second time through. Usually they start putting at the middle point 4, 5 through 6 of the innings, and then 7, 8, 9 too. They're a really good team at scoring late at times. But as well, continue on the con list of Jose Quintana. Expected batting average for him is usually a 282. Expected ERA for him as well, a 513. That is very high. Pitching and fastball run value as well has a -4. So yes, he's had a great June, but he has showed some flashes here and there of not having success and not being consistent throughout his starts. And the Astros got to do a great job and jump early on him with his left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And he's honestly he's been kind of struggling with lefties. Like lefties, and then I know they're playing at City Field. He's been pretty good at City Field actually, but for the most part, I think that lefties can take advantage, and the Astros have at least one lefty right now that's healthy. That's really good at left-handed hitters, and that's Jordan Alvarez. Could be a pretty good turnaround game for him too. And just get on base. He kind of struggles on low leverage situations with 266 batting average there, and I feel like he would get on base early. Especially like a man like Jose Altuve likes to pick on the first pitch, get on base quick, and like without no outs, 1 out, and after you can take advantage of that.
Yeah, put in pressure, and the Astros have been doing a great job at that in this whole homestand against the Orioles and Rockies. But more than likely, if it's a left-handed pitcher, you're probably going to see Mauricio Dubon get some at bats here, maybe get the start at first with John Singleton possibly being on the bench because of the lefty-lefty situation. But Saturday start time, you got a 3:10. Framber Valdez 6-5 with a 3.68 ERA. He'll be going against Tyler Megill with a 2.4 record and a 4.81 ERA. Angel, have you ever met a guy named Tyler with an O instead of an E?
It's a like Taylor.
Tyler. His name is Tyler Megill. And, his first name, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
The E usually, as
Yeah,
far as me, I've met Tylers with E's. I've never met a
yeah,
Tyler with an O.
yeah. I got you. No, I have not.
It's very interesting. Very interesting name. Tyler or Tylor. Maybe it's Tylor.
Taylor.
Highly doubt it. But Valdez, let's go back to him. Last start against the Orioles, he was phenomenal. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He's looked really well with the Dreads. Maybe the Dreads were a trending direction for Framber Valdez in the last couple starts. Well, being in the only start with the Dreads on. A great team to go against with the Mets. Of course, another lefty situation. Francisco Lindor's probably go to the right side. Pete Alonso's been hitting pretty well here, there lately too. Making sure getting that ground ball is going to be the number one thing of him, as we sound like a broken record, always talking about Framber Valdez starts. But that is the huge part of his game. If he gets the ground ball going and inducing into double plays as well, that's going to be a long, long game for the New York Mets. And I think there'll be a great job for Valdez to do that against a team like this.
I mean, but I feel like this is a start that kind of like worries me a little bit. I'm a Nationals fan, just because the inconsistency with Framber Valdez the and the Mets are streaky. Like I feel like they're kind of sharks in water, where they smell blood, or like they smell that frustration brewing of a pitcher, and they can take advantage of that real quick. Especially guys like Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, McNeil too. Like those guys are really good at hitting pitchers' mistakes. So
Oh, go ahead.
I was done. I think you're gonna say something.
No, I was just gonna say back-to-back quality starts as well. The
Yeah.
only bad start he's had in the month of June, really, dude, is the not New York Giants. I'm thinking back in the days. The San Francisco Giants. That game he pitched 4 innings, 5 earned runs. Other than that, you go from June 1st to the 7th against Minnesota. He only gave up 1 run. Same thing against the Angels, only giving up a 1 run, as well as the Chicago White Sox 2 earned runs. So Framber has looked really good this June. Just take away that game against the Giants, and he's really had a great June. A 3-2 record with a 2.73 ERA. Can't complain how he's been doing, as La Grasa has been doing throughout this whole season.
Mm.
But moving on to Tyler Megill, last start against the Chicago Cubs, 3 innings, 5 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. His last start versus Houston, going back to 2023, he went 2 innings and a third, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Let's start off with the pros on him real quick. Has a strong strikeout percentage, 28.7% of the time. That's 87 percentile on Baseball Savant. His fastball averages about 95.6 miles per hour. That is going to be his best pitch. He's thrown it 308 times. So that's the top pitch of his arsenal. 17 strikeouts is the best pitch he's thrown for getting those Ks. But his arsenal is really crazy, honestly. 7 pitches. He
7.
can go to 7 pitches in that arsenal of his: four-seamer, cutter, slider, split finger, curveball, changeup, and a sweeper. You're probably not going to see changeup and sweeper most of the time. You're probably going to see a lot of mix of the four-seam, cutter, slider, and split finger for Megill. But let's go with his non-good outings, I guess you can say, throughout this whole season. This has probably been one of the worst months he's pitched this year. In the month of June, 2-2 record, 7.64 ERA, 15 earned runs, 293 opponent batting average. And then not just that, he does struggle in the first part of through the order. The first part through the lineup, 1 through 9, pitching, I guess, first to the third inning, he struggled. 6.39 ERA, 403 opponent on base percentage, 327 on opponent batting average. Tag him early. That's the only thing I got to say. Make him go through that lineup quick. Obviously, you saw the last start that the Astros had against him. They got him out of the game early, only pitching 3 innings and a third. I think the Astros could do a great job at doing that in this game and getting to that bullpen pretty early.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the Astros are a team that could potentially score early. However, I think this one could be a pitcher's duel as well, if you ask me. Just like how Quintana was, Taylor Megill pitches really good at home compared to his home road splits. Away, he has an 8.31 ERA. At home, a 2.61 ERA, and limiting the batting average as well. Opponent batting average away is 291. Opponent batting average at Citi Field is 211. So again, I think the
Huge
Astros.
difference.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Astros are a team that can take advantage, score early. You saw it in the first inning and on Tuesday's games against the Colorado Rockies. But if he does get out of the first, 1 through 9 and it starts to settle in, it could be a potential pitcher too.
Yeah, that's great insight from the home and away splits, because that does matter. And you may think it might not matter, but honestly,
That's what
somebody could,
colors.
and not just that. Ask Dallas Keuchel. Remember in 2015,
Yeah.
his ERA was pretty damn low at Minute Maid Park compared to being on the road. Yeah, like you said, even ask Lance McCullers. It could be a huge difference maker, especially in the series. Like you said, it could come down to either a pitch, it could come down to a hit, it can even come down to a run. So just matter to see what happens there. And on Sunday, the Astros have not announced 12:40 start time. They have not announced a starter. Possibility it could be a bullpen game, so we'll just have to monitor that situation. But the Mets do have a starter. It's going to be Luis Severino, 5.2 record with a 3.29 ERA. And the Astros, of course, have seen Luis Severino through the years with the New York Yankees. Now he's not with the Yankees, and this is his first year with the Mets. So Severino with the Mets. Last start against the Chicago Cubs, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Last year versus Houston with the New York Yankees, he's only pitched through 4 innings in both those starts, giving up a total of 9 earned runs if you combine them 2 starts. And he's given up home runs to no other than Yainer Diaz, which Diaz has taken him deep twice, and Yordan Alvarez, being Yordan Alvarez loving Yankee Stadium. But I think Severino has looked very comfortable over there at Citi Field, across from the Bronx to Flushing, Queens. He's looked really good in a New York Met uniform. Has had a good month of June as well, just like Quintana. 2-0 record, 2.73 ERA, 17 strikeouts. And just like you were saying with Megill, having a great record at home. Same thing goes for Luis Severino, man. Pitches well against right-handed hitters, specifically at Citi Field. 194 opponent batting average, 279 opponent on base percentage, and a 333 opponent slugging percentage. Them are very low numbers as in the offensive statistic. So he's done a really damn good job pitching at Citi Field. I guess he's very comfortable with the apple behind him in center. I don't know what it is. But even throwing that away, Severino's had a really good season. This was kind of a bounce back candidate for a lot of players. I know, Angel, you had written about it early on before the baseball season. He's looked really well in the Mets, 5.2, 3.29 ERA. He's looked really well and looked very comfortable playing down there in Queens.
Absolutely, completely turned it around. I know he struggled a bit early on, but has found his rhythm back. And I think, just like I said, I have done a few episodes earlier, like kind of like predicting what games Astros should win. They need to win the first two, especially a bullpen game. Yes, some pieces of the bullpen have been pretty phenomenal for the Astros, so it kind of gives you hope that they could, do a really good job. But there's also times when the bullpen has not been as great as it should be, especially like the Abreu, Presley, like Hader was just early on, he found it back, but like relying on guys like Brian King, yes, they've been pretty good so far, but they're still rookies, right? Like teams have a little bit more video on them, so they could easily adjust. So I think they have to win the first two. Savage, take the series win, because going against Luis Severino against a bullpen game, I think that's advantage the Mets right there.
Yeah, not just that, but both teams, well, not both teams, but team and player. Luis Severino kind of has a scouting report on a bunch of these Astro players like Alvarez, Altuve, Bregman, as well as the Astros know Severino. They've hit him pretty well last year against when he was with the Yankees. Both teams are going to adjust. And like you said, the advantage is the Mets, because the Astros don't have a starting pitcher going in that game. It's going to probably be a bullpen game. You don't know if they're going to throw out Blake King. You don't know if they're going to throw out Luis Contreras. You don't know about Mr. Hernandez himself as well. Sean Dubin, like I said, could be a candidate to start the game off.
Hernandez was
he was optional.
Yeah,
you're right. So it's going to be an interesting game. Thank God the Astros have had enough off days, I would say, because this week alone, they've already had 2 off days. And then after that, it's going to be a crucial 10-game series on the road without an off day. And the Astros offense is really going to have to pick up the bullpen in that last game of that series finale against the Mets.
I mean, they're going to have to. They're going to have to win that, like the first, like I said, to stay kind of alive on that one, because it's going to be pretty tough. But moving on to the train station, the Astros did agree to a minor league deal for Omar Narvaez. I think he was waived by the Mets this season. I'm not allowed to correct it. Like, it is a minor league deal, but it just kind of provides some insurance since Caratini's kind of like an IL, still kind of like not hurt too much from that since we last updated you. So it's just some insurance there. But honestly, I think Cesar Salazar has played phenomenal, given the little opportunities he does have. Like, he had another RBI today. Caught a hell of a game, today as well. I think he has a pretty good relationship with the guys in the dugout. So I don't think he makes it to the league. Like I think it's just some insurance at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And then we also have some more news on Kyle Tucker per Brian McTaggart. I'm sorry, this is per China Rum. Kyle Tucker took swings off the tee Sunday and could start running within the next few days, according to the Astros. So again, it's a slow process for both Justin Verlander and Kyle Tucker. Like I said last time, I don't think it wasn't take this long, but at the end of the day, it is a marathon. Like you do need Kyle Tucker healthy for the rest of the season, especially not a year at 500, to kind of maintain that. Kyle Tucker's have to play a pretty big part of that. Justin Verlander as well. We do have some updates. This is per channel room as well. Astros manager Joe Spotted told Sports MT that Justin Verlander is progressing slower than the team anticipated. He is still not throwing. He also asked if this is a shoulder, arm, or elbow problem. Spotted reiterate it's just a soreness in Verlander's neck. So I know we kind of talked about the similar injury to Christian Javier, but Spotted reiterating that it is not any arm issues. Kind of brings a little hopeful for the Astros that Justin Verlander could be back, and he needs to be back if he wants to meet those incentives and like get that option because I think he has an innings option. I forgot the number exactly.
I want to say it's 140 innings, but I'll double check real quick for you.
So 140 innings, and I think he's what right now. What do you think?
I'll double check.
Right, yeah, get us those numbers. And then on Wednesday, which is today, they did announce that Verlander was not traveling with the team to New York, so that kind of takes him out of the equation of pitching that Sunday game because again, it's most likely to be a bullpen game. And then we also got some devastating news from the minor leagues. JP France is out for the rest of the season. This is per his agent Nate Heister. Right-handed pitcher JP France will undergo shoulder surgery with Dr. Keith Meister and will miss the remainder of the 2024 MLB season. So pretty big blow. I mean, I think we had this conversation like 2 podcasts ago. If they're gonna have,
I think we literally just talked about last episode.
Was it? Yeah, like if JP France, if he's still not throwing, got another setback, like he needs to have surgery like now to get back, and there it is.
Yeah, I think it was a good option for him to do that. Like I said, I think you just got to prepare for the next season in 2025. You're still a young cat too. I mean, you're going to be through arbitration for a good amount of years still, and I think JP France is going to still be a vital part of this Astros rotation, or he could be a vital part of being in that long relief role in the bullpen. So it was a great. I mean, it's not great, of course, not having the injury, but it's great on the move that the Astros and France or whoever decided that shoulder surgery was the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, so it can only make you better, right? Like I know some guys prefer just to like take time and heal, but sometimes that just doesn't work, or it's going to re-injure it again. So sometimes surgery is the best option. And then another guy that was battling shoulder problems was Jake Bloss, and right now he's playing catch in the outfield this past series. So that's a great sign to see. Again, he's still on the IL. He's not going to be pitching on Sunday. That's out of the question there. But could be a guy that kind of could possibly answer Lorenzo's question earlier on. Is like, who's that fifth guy? Maybe it could be Jake Bloss. I know he had a pretty good first impression. I'm not gonna lie to you, against the Baltimore Orioles. Kind of limited him to 2 runs, limited damage on there. Yes, it wasn't a pretty outing. I'm not gonna get it wasn't a pretty one, but he did his job what he was supposed to be doing. So I mean, that just could be another option there. And then another option could be Luis Garcia. So Luis Garcia could start a game in the complex league this weekend. Joe Espada said this would be the beginning of his rehab assignment. So Luis Garcia is working his way back to the major league roster. I think he will honestly play a crucial role in those late months of the season. I think when we saw him pitch that first bullpen, he looked great. Nice zip on the fastball. I think he threw 1 or 2 curveballs, but the majority stayed fastball there. So but it did look pretty good.
Yeah, going to Verlander real quick. 57 innings in 10 starts this season. It is 140. Joshua even wanted to chime in real quick. It is 140 innings.
That's a lot.
35 million player option for 2025.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna hit it right now, honestly.
That's what I was gonna ask right there real quick. And man, it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna come down to the wire. It just depends on the health.
And that's not including playoffs, correct?
Not including playoffs, just regular season.
Yeah, it's be kind of tough.
But I don't think it'll take away that the Astros are still probably going to go after starting pitching, even though Luis Garcia is going to come back. I'm projecting he'll come back probably after the All-Star break, possibly right at the trade deadline too as well. So more than likely, it's going to be a good thing to have him back because it could really help boost the starting rotation because Ronald Blanco's already gone through the innings he's already pitched in his career. as well as a bunch of other guys. Maybe going into a six-man rotation as well is going to be another key. So the Astros are still going to pivot their way of possibly adding one or two starters, um, you know, to see what happens if they even make the postseason, or possibly just have some for the next year.
Yeah, I mean, you can never have too much pitching. Like something that we've been saying early on, something that Dana Brown's been saying too. Never have too much pitching. But kind of like moving to the bright side is Astros. Astros in June 28th are. Oh, sorry, June 28th always have a pretty good celebration. I don't know if you saw what's coming out. The Astros are kind of like collabing with DJ Screw and having some shirts. I think even like a little Letterman jacket with some nice hats. Like what's your take on that?
Well, first off, it's not
June
June 28th.
27th,
And it's
27th,
June
27th,
27th. Come
7th.
on. You're a Houstonian, dog. Come on. You
No,
got to
no.
have that. Nah, but the culture, man. I mean, Houston hip hop, it's a different breed. It's all about, DJ Screw, Paul Wall, Bun B, Slim Thug, all those rappers that come from Houston. June 27th is just a special day, for the culture and just majority even music in general. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool that the Astros are collaborating, doing some DJ Screw merchandise. Even seeing it through an email how the merchandise is going to look. It looks really nice. It looks really nice, and I think it's a great way to not market, but remember the hip hop how it was back in Houston, back when he was still alive.
Yeah, it's also be Jordan Alvarez Day too. I think his birthday is June 27th, and where's number 44? So I think he was meant to stay in Houston forever at that point. Because, but yeah, they will also be giving out a bobblehead with Jordan Alvarez, and then also an add-on that you can purchase. That also Jordan Alvarez there too. So Jordan Alvarez will be celebrated along with DJ Screw that day, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people at the store getting the new merchandise. I think it's gonna be a little fan favorite there.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 6:27 p.m. is we got the email. So
Yeah.
make sure you get there on time. Whatever you want to buy your merchandise, and just see what hopefully they don't sell out. So
Speaking of merchandise, did you see that Jose Abreu jerseys were $20 at
$20 at the
the
team
team
store.
store?
That's crazy. That's the only one where I could really put to it. Crazy, man.
Yeah,
Dude, $20 jersey though, you can't go wrong.
I mean, yeah.
You're going from 175 to $20. Come on.
Yeah. I know, like one of our good friends bought some to send back to Cuba, so uh, it's always
He's
good.
Cuban too. So
Yeah, it's always good. And then I don't know if you saw the benches clear in San Diego. I don't know if you saw that, how it let up. So Jerkson Profar walked off the game before, and then I guess they didn't like the way he celebrated after. So the next day, Keibert Reese has like as soon as Jerkson Profar stepped into the plate, kind of had some words for him. And at first they were just talking, then Machado came and it just kind of dug out, just like erupted out, right? And it's like this just whole back and forth between uh both both dugouts, and then they settle down. Jackson Profar gets hit in the next at bat, and that was and before he got hit, they had warned both benches, but they did not eject Mackenzie Gore. They ejected Mike Schmidt, for arguing that why wasn't Mackenzie Gore ejected after he hit Jackson Profar. Like, I don't know. San Diego, Washington was never really a rivalry, but I mean, I guess they took exception for something there.
I mean, they were trade partners. Think about it. The one Soto and Josh
Yeah.
Bell deal. They were trade partners. I don't know if they're going to be partners ever again after that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was shocking that Mackenzie Gore didn't get thrown out. If you're going to warn both benches, you would think the pitcher would be thrown out the next pitch. But I don't think it was intentional, do. Like, I don't know if you saw the pitch. It was a breaking ball.
Was it a breaking ball?
It looked like a breaking ball.
I think the announcements, like I was hearing the commentators when they said it was a fastball to the legs.
Well, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes players just hold on to a little bit more and I'll make a little mistake. But
yeah,
but I'm not gonna say it was intentional because even Keibert Reeves was kind of confused. Like I don't know if he saw him like this with his hands up like this, like like what the heck, right? So.
Oh, Joshua Goddison wasn't a breaking ball. 98 miles per hour fastball.
Yeah,
98.
I don't know. And I don't know if you saw that Darius Keiko made a return. He's pitching for Milwaukee over there. With
He
the
made a start actually today,
he
right?
did against the Rangers, yeah. Against Rangers. I think he allowed 5 runs. Got the no decision though.
Yeah, that is Keiko being back in. That's another immaculate grid guy you could probably put in. What?
Yeah. White Sox.
White Sox, Braves,
Brewers
Rangers,
now.
Brewers, Astros. Did he pitch in the with the Mariners? I know he was in their farm system, but I don't
No.
know if he came out to get you.
I don't think he made it out.
Okay, so them are the only teams I think I can really think of that he's been with. So, but yeah, making a comeback though. That's another strong. I mean, having a veteran presence with him being with that young Milwaukee team too. I think that's pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look at that. An hour exactly.
Well, now we're in a minute now, so you kind of jinxed it. You kind of jinxed it. Nah, but that's it. That's the end of our show, episode 191 in the books. Like I just said at the beginning of the show, continue to follow our platforms from Twitter or X, whatever you want to call that, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on Twitter, make sure you go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, as well as we continue to produce content from our YouTube page and trying to get the subscribers going as well. And then the podcast platforms to Spotify, Apple being the biggest of them all. But Angel, I think it was a great crowd tonight, man. 9:13 p.m. Central Time at Houston, Texas. We appreciate everybody tuning in, like Angel said at the beginning of the show. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you haven't followed our platforms on social media, make sure you go out there and do that as well, as we're producing, like I said, content each and every day. But Angel, you got anything to sign off before we get off?
No, peace. Thank you for listening out, and it's time for dinner.
It's time for dinner. Yeah, it is actually on my side too as well. But look out, maybe Friday we'll do another. Well, we haven't even done a giveaway, so Friday more than likely 90 to 99% chance we'll do a giveaway. So just be on the lookout as on the, I guess the way. What's the word you say? Like how to win it.
Like, what
You
do you
know
mean?
what I'm saying?
No.
Like just basically just saying how to like enter the contest kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So yeah, just be on the lookout. Just be on the lookout. That's all I can say.
The rules for the giveaway. There you go.
Exactly. But it'll be on X, so tune in. Like I said, follow our platforms, subscribe to our channel. Till then, have a good it'll be the weekend. Have a safe weekend, be blessed, and we'll give you that recap of the Mets. Get ready for that Toronto, Canada, Canada, as the Astros will go visit Drake at the 6. Till then, y'all stay safe.
Drake's in Houston.
Yeah, y'all stay safe. Have a blessed weekend.